to the Vista auxiliary space. You want to?
Yeah, I was at Mount Baldy this past weekend. I learned that it wasn't always called Mount Baldy. Yeah, back when the mountain was like a lot younger and more hopeful, it was known as Mount Rogaine. Hey, you guys ever played doctor when you were little? Yeah, when I was in kindergarten, I was playing doctor with one of my classmates. Everything was all fun until you started playing proctologist. Yeah, one guy told me that if you scratch your head, it makes you go bald. But I don't think so, because my balls are still hairy as hell. And one of my buddies is like a white dude, but he's like really white, I think he's like part albino and shit. And he's so white when he comes to my house, all my plants start growing in his direction. And whenever I have sex, I never last as long as I'd like to, I'm always like, come on, penis, hang in there, But it's always just like, screw this. Blech. I used to go to water parks every summer, But then one summer I had a traumatic experience, so I stopped going. And I was 16, right? And I was waiting on these stairs to go up onto the slide. And I looked up, and the girl in front of me, she thought same age as me, and her boobs are right in my face, And it's kind of cool lady, right? So the nipples are popping out. Oh, okay, so I turned. But then this girl, her face is right at my junk, and I already got a partial woody, right? But then she yawned, and that was it, right? I was like, bing, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. So I just ran up the stairs, past everybody. And apparently it's pretty common in raging waters, because the lifeguard was like, come on, just go, right? So I jumped on the slide and I got out of there, and I was like, man, he really needs to rename this place. We should call it Raging Boners. Yeah, why didn't the oyster share his food? Why? He's shellfish. Alright, there's a sailor, right? And he gets hired onto his boat. Yeah, they're out at sea for about 6 months. And he's talking to his buddy. He's like, hey man, when are we going to go back to port, We're getting kind of horny out here, right? He's like, oh no, we're going to go to port for another 6 months. He's like, what? I can't wait that long. He's like, well, have you tried the barrel? He's like, no, what's that? So he takes him to his room, there's a barrel in it, and the barrel's a little hole. So he's like, here you go. So he fucks the barrel, and it works really well, right? He's like, wow, that's awesome, He's telling his buddies, like, man, that was great. And I'm gonna use that barrel every day. He's like, well, every day was Sunday, right? He's like, oh, you can't use it on Sunday? He's like, well, yeah, you can, but Sunday's your day in the barrel, so. What do you call a guy that can make a business suit real fast? Taylor Swift. Hey, whenever guys brag about how big his dick is, usually the opposite, right? Usually really small. And I was talking to this guy the other day, he's like, oh yeah, man, my dick's so big, I'm hung like a horse. I was like, yeah, like a seahorse. Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal's the happiest man on earth, right? Oh, he's always so jolly, and everyone just loves him. I think because, no one's ever messed with him. Yeah, how are you gonna bully someone who's so tall that his crotch is in your face, right? It's like, hey, Shaq, give me your lunch money. Never mind. And that thing going around, if you're a lady and you're alone in the woods, would you rather run into a bear or a strange man? And a lot of women are choosing the bear, right? Well, I think that's just ignorance of bear knowledge. Because I ran into a bear alone in the woods once. Yeah, he fucked the shit out of me. Yeah, it's weird how language changes over time, right? Nowadays, if a guy came up to me and told me he was going to blow my brains out, I wouldn't know whether to run away or pull my pants down. Yeah, earlier this year, scientists reported for the first time 2 male humpback whales having sex. Yeah, Warner Brothers is already going to make a movie about them. Yeah, they're called Humpback Mountain. Yeah, I was watching this Bigfoot documentary, and it struck me how dedicated these Bigfoot hunters were. Yeah, they're so devoted to something that might not even be real. Like comedians in their careers. Yeah, I've had sex with all different types of women, white, black, Asian, Hispanic. In my opinion, Asian women give the best blowjobs. Yeah. If any of you ladies like to prove me wrong, you can meet me in the bathroom later. What did the Australian chess player say to the waiter? They said, checkmate. Ah, this left over. You know, comedians will always tell you two things, right? They'll always tell you when they just booked on a show. They'll always tell you they just had sex. That's a bit juvenile, right? Like myself, I haven't been booked on a show in over a month. But I did get laid last week, so whoa. I'm out here.